Hello and welcome back to Gardening with Ben. Welcome to our new episode for today. I hope you're enjoying all the podcasts that we're putting out there. If you've not subscribed to our channel, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with all our podcasts, what get launched, and feel free to follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube and Instagram, Gardening with Ben. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave a review as well, as it's always good to see who's listening and what you think of the podcast. Let's start today's episode. In today's topic, we are talking about mulch, mad about mulch. But the thing is, I'm not really an expert on mulch, as I've not used it too much on my plot, to be honest. When I first got my plot, I had all my paths laid on the plot, and I did use mulch, to be honest, and it looked absolutely fantastic. They looked posh, they looked fresh, and it was easy to walk on and everything, rather than walking on the soil. And the thing is with mulch, it does rot down after a year or two. So you have to keep replacing it and keeping it looking decent, to be honest. So if you're thinking of having mulch on your plot, the best thing to do is look on local Facebook groups or on Gumtree and try and find a local tree surgeon, or even ask the council and see what they do with disposing of their mulch from when they chop down trees and stuff like that. And sometimes if you build up a good contact with somebody, you could always get free mulch delivered to your allotment, and then you wouldn't be having to pay for it, and in return you could give them some of your free produce for what you grow on your plot, just as a thank you gesture. And then you're building up that rapport with somebody, and they don't have to pay to get it disposed of, which sometimes they do. They can just easily drop it off at your plot, and you can lay it down on your paths or around your fruit and vegetables. Now, if you are wanting to use mulch, you have to remember as well that it can sometimes attract unwanted guests to the plot, as slugs tend to like the warmth from mulch, and obviously it's quite damp as well, so it can attract the slugs to your plot. What I've tend to use, if I'm wanting to cover my plot for my paths etc., I use black membrane, which I lay down on the paths, and that can easily be lifted up and pulled up and cleared and relayed wherever you want. And I've had black membrane down on my plot now probably for about 10 years or so, and it's still standing strong. Obviously, like I say, with mulch, you have to keep replacing it, keeping it topped up, and obviously it will stick to the bottom of your feet, shoes, and you will be fetching it around everywhere all over the plot. But it does work fantastic, as obviously mulch adds the food and the nutrients to the plants. You can put it around your trees, stuff like that, just to give that the general feed to the plants. So if you are looking for mulch information, don't tend to come to me, as I don't know a lot about mulch. It's something that I do need to research quite a bit and look into the importance of using mulch, and whether I should actually start using it on my plot to see if I can get any better produce off my plants. I do get good crops already from my plants, but sometimes that extra bit of stuff what you could try is vital to getting good crops. One thing I have read is that one thing that I always do is I always put feed round my rhubarb plants at the beginning of the year, just when they start growing, which is probably around now actually. One job that I do need to get done. And you can mulch around your rhubarb plants, but they always say don't put the mulch right up to the crowns, as the mulch can generally rot the crowns and ruin your rhubarb, so don't do that. So that has been our little topic on mulch today. Not much to talk about, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not an expert on mulch, so it's something new to me, and it's something that I do need to research. If you do know about mulch, let me know, send me a message. Do you use mulch on your allotment? Send me a message via Facebook or Instagram. It's always good to hear back from our listeners. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Make sure you do click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our podcasts, which get launched on a daily basis at the moment. And feel free to follow us on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, Gardening with Ben. Obviously on YouTube you get to see all the videos as well, which we launch regularly. And if you'd like to support Gardening with Ben, check out the link below in the description from our shop, where you can purchase fantastic gardening hoodies and t-shirts. You can also buy a Gardening with Ben mug to be drinking your own brew out of while listening to this podcast. And we've launched recently a fantastic range of greeting cards which can be used for any occasion, and also for letters to send to family and friends. So thanks for listening, and as always, remember, keep gardening.